So you used to be married?
Yes, to a man who was only 3 years older than me.
So what was that like? And at what point did you determine, okay, I need to be part of this sugar baby, sugar daddy lifestyle, or seek more older people?
So our relationship was really unhealthy. I tried everything I could, counseling and just praying every single day. We were really religious. I waited till marriage to have sex. Like it was
really?
Yes, it was very, I got married with good intentions and he was verbally abusive and narcissistic and it was awful. I worked all the time. I had 5 different jobs. And
at the same time?
Yes. I homeschooled a little boy. I played the harp for gigs. I played the harp for like gigs, weddings, and I played at nursing homes. I also was a nanny and I did that for 2 different families at different times. And then I also had an online jewelry store. So, and I was working my online jewelry store till 4 a.m. So I worked so hard and he never appreciated it or saw what I did as valid. So I determined as soon as I left him that I would never be with someone who didn't value what I brought to the table as someone who was really trying to be an entrepreneur and build my online business. I was working all those other jobs so I could fund the jewelry store dream.
Yeah.
And I thought, someone mentioned, why don't you get on Seeking Arrangements? Like, or date someone older who believes in that dream. You could stay at home and really work on your dream.
Yeah, yeah.
And I thought about it and I thought about it some more. And eventually it just became a no-brainer for me. It was, okay, I could date someone older. And then it gave me permission to admit that I've actually been attracted to older the whole time. Older women, but I guess an older man was the closest thing I could get to with my religious background without feeling
that's
so
quite
guilty.
That's quite the path. But my thing,
right?
but my thing is like if you date, okay, so there's so many things here. So if you dated regular people, if that's the word to use in this context, right?
Average Joes.
Average Joes. Apologies to the average Joes, if you title yourself as such. If you're in a relationship with someone that was of your age, group, what was your dynamic with that person if internally, 1, you were into older people, and 2, if you were into like women?
So the women think I suppressed, and I would always just think, I admire her. No, like, I just want to be her. No, I just want to slap her ass. Like, yeah.
So that was always in the back of your mind, and you just kind of like push it down. Mm-hmm. But
push it down.
But what about like? So I happen to think that the lifestyle of pursuing older gentlemen or older women is purely stemmed from, I guess, some sort of trauma you experienced in this previous relationship. Because I imagine you wouldn't have jumped to Seeking Arrangements if you were with someone that really valued you, that really, helps you pursue your dreams. They don't have to be super affluent, but at the very least, it wouldn't be the extreme of them being somewhat abusive, right?
Right. No, I could have loved the ex-husband forever if he would have been a loving person. I was very devoted and he was beautiful on the outside. He just wasn't on the inside.
Got it.
I do get what you're saying. Can you state the question one more time specifically?
So how much of what you're pursuing now very related to the trauma you experienced in that past relationship where your man was not supportive and somewhat abusive, and then now you are seeking an arrangement mainly with older people who are more supportive, more affluent and successful, so you don't have to work 5 jobs. How much of that played a role?
So that was my situation when I'm 26. Now I can completely support myself on my own and live a life of abundance. But at the time, I will admit, yes, there was trauma there, which led me to logically think of a solution. Okay. Dating someone older at 26, I'm 29 now. Dating someone older at 26 was a solution. But if I am truly honest and I go back, way back, rip back the layers like I help clients do, my first attractions were to women in their 40s. Even when I was 5, I don't want to look at those women on TV.
When you were 5?
I was interested. Yes. My first crush was a woman who was 45.
Oh.
and there's been no trauma. So I completely respect anyone who's had trauma and understand that it can relate, but it doesn't have to. I've never been sexually assaulted.
That's good.
I've never had any trauma like that before. I've even done past life regressions a couple times to go back. I have a therapist. I have a life coach. We've all tried to figure out why, and it simply comes down to it's not a kink. It's a preference. I am truly into older women.
And that's perfectly fine. I mean, by all means, if you're into that, you're into that. And everybody's got some form of a preference in some capacity. I just wanted to understand it from the psychological point of view to see if there's like some path we can walk through, because you mentioned that and it happened more abundantly after that relationship. Right?
Absolutely. That's where I gave myself permission. I felt like I was a grown up then.
Yeah. But let me ask you a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me ask you a question. What was your relationship with your parents like?
Amazing. We're best friends.
Really?
Both my mom and my dad.
Are they together still?
Yeah, they're together. They're so happy. They're actually on a little trip, and I get pictures from them all the time. They're living their best life. It's really precious. But me and my parents, when I didn't stay a Christian, they didn't like that. And that's the only conflict we've ever had. And me coming out was something for them to swallow, and now they're fine.
Okay.
We have a great relationship.
But what about their understanding of the type of people that you date or want to be in relationship with, like the wealthy?
They grieved me leaving Robert. They loved him so much. They immediately loved him. At first, I showed my mom a picture and she goes, "Don't you think he's a little bit too old for you?" And then she met him in real life and they loved him more than me. So I wish I could give you a juicy story like that. But I will tell you that many people deal with naysayers. And the way to handle that is realizing that your friends and your family care about you, and they might be trying to protect you from a power dynamic struggle. And that's okay if they're concerned. And if you're really in love with someone, you realize you don't have to give people an explanation if you're just happy. But if you're not happy and you're in a sugar relationship and you're just doing this as work, people who care about you might not want you to be stuck in that. And that's okay. They care about you, and I think it's good to listen to them. Listen to the people who are closest to you in your life. But
it sounds like you've had very supportive parents all around, right? Like 10,000%. Just generally. But what's some of the biggest criticism you've ever received for being part of the sugar baby, sugar daddy lifestyle?
People would look at us funny because I live in a small town, Lafayette, Louisiana. So we'd go somewhere and you could see other women in his perceived dating pool. So women in their 50s looking at me like you're taking something from me. I would get that energy a lot. And at the end of the day, I'm really not. He was truly attracted to only younger women. He is still only attracted to younger women. And he's single ladies, and he's an amazing guy. Go get him. Look him up, Robert Crook.
He's very generous.
I will not. He's not very generous.
I might ask him for a loan. Let me stop.
He is very generous with love, and he will provide. He's a sweetheart. But one thing people will do is just look at you weird or ask, who's going to pay the bill, rather than like assuming that you're like a daughter. And it's like, if someone makes a comment like, "Is that your dad?" Just be like, "I wouldn't kiss my dad like that," and then like make out with him right in front of him just to be like,
"You are a savage." It is my dad.
I cannot wait to do that with a woman. Oh my God. But someone's like, "Is that your mom?" Be like, "Mommy."